for those of you that were watching the other one, yeah, I needed that reprieve because I was on such an emotional roller coaster. I was like, you know what, screw all this stuff, burn it down. I don't want anything to do with it. Those of you that have stuck with me through that was one of those moments where I'd had enough. I think that a lot of the riffraff by me just doing that, it pushed them away. They went to found somebody else to antagonize things like that. Okay, so I don't know. It is what it is. But if you are, if you want to chat is open. And yeah. Anyways, okay, cool. So we've got some people in here. So if you want to chat is now open for everybody. So if you want to say hi, welcome. Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys for being patient with me and giving me that opportunity. What's up, Skeeter? We have creamer and sugar if you need some. Yeah, Skeeter. So tomorrow I do want to. I was meaning I'm texting you after the broadcast, but I would like a ride in with you guys if you guys are going to the food bank. But if possible, I need to stop off at Family Dollar and get a few things as well. If it's possible. Otherwise, I'll just go into Family Dollar tomorrow, and that's all good. But I'll text you afterwards. But yeah, I was meaning on doing that. But good to see you, Skeeter. Have any of you? I'm just curious. Anybody here, either whether you're watching it post live stream or right now, have you been over to hobotuck.com? Have you listened to any of my broadcasts? I'm curious if anybody knows about it, stuff like that, because I'm gonna be for the next 90 days. I'm gonna be pushing that as hard as I possibly can. Perfect. Thanks, Skeeter. So yeah, and tomorrow, so we have what's it called? Tomorrow, so Monday is Constitutional Monday. Tuesday is Privacy Tuesday. Today was good, but I think Monday was much better. That would have been a full 2-hour broadcast if I would have been able to, if I didn't have a meeting to go to, which I'm getting that rearranged so that I'm not limited on broadcast time, especially if we get into a good one. Because yeah, Constitutional Monday was good. We were talking about the First, the Second, the Fourth, and the Ninth, and the 10th Amendments and how they are being affected. So if you go over to hobotuck.com, you will you can see if you click on blog, it'll take you to my blog and you'll see them, because after every broadcast, what I do is I turn it into a blog. I post the audio file on top. And then, I disseminate that all over the place. So where has Beth been? She was what caused the whole problem, Paul. She kind of went nuts about 2 weeks ago and just like was completely, yeah, we'll just say it was really not good. Hey, Tuck, it's been a while. How's it going? What's up, Matthew? I ain't seen you in a while. I was wondering what happened to you. I'm hoping you're still coming over. Then that means we got 3 people over here now. But anyways, you guys should come on over to hobotuck.com. And if you want to listen to my morning broadcast. So Monday is Constitution Monday, Privacy Tuesday, Community Wednesday, Digital Economy Thursday, and Spiritual Friday. Now Friday's non-dogmatic. We're not going to be talking about all the what's it called, the trailer living. What's up? Yes, I am in a trailer, Osha. But no, it's going to be non-dogmatic. You guys have sat back and listened to the spiritual talks. I know that a lot of you guys like that stuff, and so that will be the one day. So when you come over to hobotuck.com, at the top of the page there's the live broadcast. On Fridays, I've got it set up where you can actually chat, so everybody can ask questions and we can have it as an open community discussion, and we'll kind of go from there. I may end up doing chats on every one of them, but right now it is just for those that are members on Patreon, with the exception of Fridays. Fridays was when I kind of make is when I close down the paywall and I bring everybody in to give them a quick tour. So what's up, Mitch? I ain't seen you in a while either. How you been? Actually, no, I ain't seen you since, I think it was either Friday or Monday. But anyways, just so you guys know, that's what's going on. Come on over to hobotuck.com. If you want uncensored stuff, if you want the censored stuff and you're just kind of looking for entertainment, just, here on YouTube, that will be kind of what I do moving forward. Just taking the, not necessarily the whole 15 minutes, but or because it's like an hour broadcast. I don't know. But anyways, I ain't talked to you guys in a while. I ain't been able to have much of a chat with anybody. I've either been working or sleeping. So I want to know, how are you guys doing? I ain't seen you in a while. So, but yeah, I actually had to. It's raining right now. It usually just rains one day and then moves on. But man, it's been raining for a couple days now. 3 days. Well, 3 out of the last 4 days it's rained. And so, yeah, I finally got my tarp up. I didn't get my tarp up the other day because it was just a light dusting, and that's what I expected. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, here comes this freaking downpour. So it was definitely a pain in the ass. I tell you that. But on Tuesday evenings, we're gonna keep doing the live broadcast here on YouTube. It's been P2. It's rough. Yes. Yeah, well, I don't know. We got electrical storm, by the way. I'm doing my own trail right now, living off my motorcycle, just traveling around. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, if you can do that, if you're okay with doing that, and all that stuff, that would be kind of awesome. Maybe you, if you're ever in the area, reach out to me via email. At least let me know a couple days in advance, because it takes me a minute to get to my email. 10 feet by 12 feet by 3 feet deep. Huh. Build a pond. There's not enough. You know what? That might be something that I could do in the future, but right now, no. Right now, I'm just getting kind of settled in with, just the seasons and what it's like around here, and getting all this settled up and stuff like that, because, yeah, YouTube has really kicked me in the balls. But, yeah, but maybe a pond. But hey, that's cool that you're going on a trail, man. That sounds like it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I don't know. It's for me, the last. It's like when I cut my schedule by a third, and I'm still able to get the same amount of production done. It's like all I want to do is sleep. And so, yeah, for the last 3 days, I've been sleeping and sleeping and sleeping. Yeah, it's pretty much dirt on top of rocks, huh? As I describe it, it's a pile of rocks with a dusting of dirt on it. That's when people ask me, what it's like. I'm like, there's if you dig down, I mean, like, there's not very much dirt. It's mostly rock. Yeah, that is true, Skeeter. I have been watching this show. Has anybody seen the show on Netflix? It's called Travelers. Type 1 if you've seen it. Type 2 if you don't know what it's at. Maybe I might give you an inspiration to listen to it. Yeah, it's not bad. I'm in the Northeast, currently Massachusetts. I was at Mount Washington yesterday. Ooh, that sounds like awesome. Doing a lot of miles a day. Well, you're on a motorcycle, right? Or are you pedaling? Did your dad start his own channel yet? No, actually what we're doing, if you go over to hobotuck.com, underneath podcast, you'll see Friday nights. That is where we're housing all of his broadcasts. So if you want to listen to my old man on my website, just because if you listen to that broadcast, you'll understand why he'll never be able to come over here to YouTube. I'm giving him his own little thing. I've even offered him, it's like, look, I can create your own little landing page and get you set up with some stuff, and you can get on and do your own broadcast every day if you'd like to. And just go there and see see how it works for you. But he doesn't want to do it. He likes doing it with me. He's gonna, if you want to listen to him, you got to come over to the websites. It'll be 8 Eastern every Friday. It's a broadcast. Yeah, it's open out to everyone to listen to. It's an extra. So on Friday, I'm doing 3 broadcasts. I'm doing one in the morning, which is my Friday broadcast, and then I'm coming on YouTube. I'll probably be here about 2:00. I'll probably do an hour live stream, and then at 5:00 my time, I'll be doing my third live broadcast, which will be with my old man. But he'll sit there and do most of the talking. So most of the work is going to be in the first and the second one, and then the third one is just going to be a cakewalk. he needs solo like Alex Jones. Well, Paul, if you follow, if you come, the only way he's going to do his own thing. My old man's 65. He doesn't understand anything when it comes to technology. You just basically set it up for him, tell him to hit record, talk into the mic, tell him how to end it, and then you got to go do everything for him. He's 65 years old. He likes to sit back and play video games, not play on a computer. And so that's kind of like, if we do anything like that, that's on him. He'll How is that even possible? What the hey? Hold on a second, guys. Oh, you got to be kidding me. Hold on a second, guys. I got to go play in the rain because apparently my tarp. I'll be right back. God damn it. Fucking worthless tarp. Well, my tarp just busted. That's why it's leaking, because just a tiny gust of wind and just took my whole back half out. So at least the front half isn't going to do it, but yeah, the back half. And so I have to wait till the rain stops. And well, looks like. Hold on, I gotta go. God damn it. Now I'm in the bad mood. This is bullshit. I just spent 45 minutes to put a tarp up. The second a slight gust of wind, it just comes completely undone. Like, it was up there, it was tight. The thing is it just the tarp cannot handle the heavy rains, and so that's kind of what's put me in a anyways, sorry guys if I seem a little pissed off, but I have every right to be. So I am soaked. Oh, hold on, I gotta go check the bathroom real quick. Fucking piece of shit. Well, maybe pulling that down just a little bit at least saved the front, but it didn't save the back, which is the back's the whole thing that's supposed to be being saved to begin with. That's what's really pissing me off. So, and I can't really do anything about it. So it's 4 ride modes. Okay, it's really quiet too. I'm sure it does. I was only at a demo ride. I goosed it a bit. It's definitely quick, but I personally don't know how fast it is. Huh. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, no, I mean, dude, you kind of, I've been through the rainstorms without the tarp, but the whole point of putting the tarp in is so that I don't damage this thing any more than what it already is. But again, between 60-mile-an-hour winds and, you know, just random rainfalls and all kinds of shit, I mean, it's sometimes this weather just really gets under my skin. Like, I've been all over this country and I've never seen crazy weather like this often. That's really what frustrates me. But anyways, buy a 1 gallon paint can, a rubber roof sealant. Yeah, I need $350, but you know what? Apparently I'm only making about $130 a month off of fucking YouTube. I have been throttled out and choked back so bad, okay, that they won't, that they have basically made it impossible for me to make money on YouTube. They don't like the things that I'm saying, and therefore, with them now implementing AI as a what's it called, as their trust verifier or whatever you want to call it, that goes through and looks through everything that you say and make sure you're not saying the wrong things. Well, once I mean, for the last, I've been dealing with it for so long. Like, I'm getting my stats have improved by like 50%. I have even increased in memberships and all kinds of other stuff, but YouTube just does not like me. You know, that's the real thing. That's what I talked about this morning. If you really want to understand it, because I mean, unless you're being affected by it. So you guys have probably heard the story from World War II where the preacher says, you know, first they came for this group and I said nothing, and then they came for this group and then I said nothing, and they came for this group and I said nothing, until finally they came for me and there was no one left. Okay, well, we're in that same situation, that same scenario that's being played out. You've had people for quite a few years now that have been complaining since post-pandemic. And it started off light. It started off with a whole pandemic thing and misinformation and getting people to understand, well, hey, you know what? This really isn't you know, credible information or whatever, until you're finally one of those people that gets censored for talking about stuff like that. And then you're like, oh, okay. Because a lot of people, like, if you guys know Ice Age Farmer, apparently he's been deplatformed. Anybody that really speaks, that really tries to share an honest message, you know, based upon things that they've learned, has gotten to a point where they're getting deplatformed. They're getting pushed off the platform. This is why I'm building up hobotuck.com. This is why it's important if you want to continue to follow me, because over the next few years, especially as the screws tighten, if anything that I may want to talk about that just doesn't fit the narrative is going to automatically get me throttled back. I mean, I spend a lot of time deciding on my title, my thumbnail, the actual content, making sure that there's a demand for it, making sure that people are looking for these types of things. Or in some instances, I want evergreen content. So like what's being done this week is called evergreen content, which means that everything that I create is meant to be watched, you know, over and over again. So when somebody's going, well, hey, how do I deal with, you know, zoning and building ordinances and stuff like that? Well, I've now got a video that will show up in the overall search results, or at least that's what I was hoping for. But that's not necessarily what will probably end up happening. Because I've got some stuff that's evergreen content. That's what's kept me. That's what kept me going when I first started, was all those evergreen videos that I did. That was kind of what helped me build my momentum so that I could get monetized. And now I'm just, every once a year, you got to go through and do at least 5 to 10 videos of evergreen content to keep yourself, hey, what's up, Raj? To keep yourself going. But anyways, if you guys really want to be able to follow me, you think that my message is important, you think that it's worth listening to, you're definitely going to have to come over to hobotech.com. Now, a half hour before the live broadcast, if you sign up for the newsletter, or excuse me, not the newsletter, it's the morning reminder. So at 7:30 my time, I got to manually send out that email to everybody that's in that list. Then you get it that way. You've got a reminder. And if you want to listen to the previous day's broadcast, you've got a blog article in there. Unless you just want like a weekly digest, then you get the week's articles, and you can figure out which ones you want to listen to, which ones you don't. But there are different things like that. But if you guys want to continue following along like this, you're going to have to, because my time on YouTube, at least from it seems like, I don't know, it seems like I'm my own worst enemy. No matter what I do, I end up shooting myself in the foot a lot of the times. And it's not that's why I drop down to 2 live streams a week, because for some reason when I go off script and I don't whitewash everything, that's when I start paying the price for it. That's sorry guys, I had to get this. That's when I pay the price for it and stuff like that. Dark Cloud NC, the squeeze has gotten too tight on content creation. Us creators have to stress ourselves and worry about not getting into trouble with YouTube's strict guidelines. Oh, and then if you go look at the ones that they haven't published, because you can find them, it's all anything that will get you throttled back, lower your trust score or whatever. That will it's mostly stuff that you say that's right leaning. So if you are not one of these woke super left wing liberals, you're gonna have a hard time. If you started your channel before the pandemic, you have a higher chance of success than, let's say, I do, who started my channel about 2 years after the pandemic. So I would be watching more. It's just hard for me to get a signal lately. I'm usually surrounded by high mountains. Oh yeah. And plus getting on YouTube with the video stuff like that, that's why over on my website, it's an audio file. You could sit there and listen to it, and it won't, like, if you are on low data and low signal, I mean, that's perfect. You ought to try that, Matthew, see how it works for you. But you can also sign up for the weekly digest. That way, if you miss something, you get it in your inbox, and you can read and watch the ones you want to read and watch. That's the reason why I did it, is so that, because I understand people are busy. One thing that somebody kept saying to me a lot of the times was that people work long days. They want to be able to come home, sit home, relax, stuff like that. But I know sometimes, like, I don't know about you, but when I was in the IT field, I always had something going on in the background. I was listening to the radio, I was listening to a podcast. It would be a web page, it would be open, something like that was low, put headphones in my ears, did my work. A lot of the work that you do nowadays, you have the ability, if you can just open up a web browser, click play, and then just kind of like listen to it in the background as you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. Now it becomes more convenient for you. So I might ride north because it's getting hot here. Yeah, you should be at least in the Carolinas or farther north than that right now, if you're worried about how hot it is. Starting in November is when you want to start heading south, Matthew. You want to be south by November, and you want to be north by May. That's really where it's at. Like, if you really want, that's your 6 months, 6 months north, 6 months south. So, I'm in Massachusetts. It's going to be 93 tomorrow. Well, it'll give it a couple of days. There's some rainstorms coming your guys' way. There's going to be some big rainstorms that are coming. And so, but anyways, just go to Canada. You're fitting to go to Canada, huh? Okay. Mm. But yes, I miss talking to my crowd here on YouTube though. But you know, one thing I've always told even the women that I've dated, if I'm not wanted, I don't stay. I'm not one of those people that's got to sit there and like, fight, fight, fight. If I'm not wanted, I'm just not going to stay. It's not worth the added stress and all that other stuff to be able to keep something. Um, if they say, if whatever. But YouTube's kind of telling me I'm not welcome here anymore. Um, and so therefore I've kind of got to I've just got to do what I got to do. And so therefore I'm going to have to even start toning down these live streams a little bit. I know I talk about it some. Once I start, getting the wheels greased and stuff like that over on my website, I'm going to feel a lot more open about saying things and not really worry about it, because quite frankly, it's affecting my bottom line, my ability to be able to survive. After losing my business, I made a choice. I said, "Hey, um, having an employee-centered business is not the wave of the future. You don't want an employee-centered business, because I'm getting paid $15 a man hour through my client, and I got people showing up wanting $20 a man hour, and they're going to sit there playing on their phone while they're leaning on the broom trying to do nothing and collect a paycheck." And it was like, no, 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 no. And that was the big reason why, like, if I probably, I probably could have saved my business, but I also looked at it and went, you know what's the point? I'm competing against border jumpers who can do it for half of what I do it for. So I can't compete. I've already relocated my business once. I'm not relocating again. I even tried to expand over into Florida, but I don't know. When you're down south, I mean, the way they treat cleaners is so much different. Hey, what's up, All American? Life is so hot. Huh? I miss your off-grid content, your property improvement videos about wisdom experience as a traveler. Well, that's what I've started doing. If you listen to what I did last week, that was my wisdom experience from being a traveler. What I'm doing is I'm figuring out these topics that I have, the 5 topics that I have all week long, and I'm kind of coming to that conclusion of, okay, these are my 5 topics. How do I integrate my story to be able to teach people? Because in a lot of ways, I didn't realize how much I learned to survive, but apparently, I'm a lot better than most people, and I've never really seen myself that way. I've always seen myself as mediocre. I know that there are always going to be people out there that are way better at it than I am. I've just managed to figure out a way to do it without developing a drug addiction, a mental health issue, a criminal record, all these different things. Those are important. That's my claim to fame, because most people, especially the longer you're out there, the more feral you become. um, Property improvement, I totally forgot how's the rock garden. Well, the rock garden is there. I just haven't I haven't picked up any soil yet. It's been raining. I've been helping my neighbor, and then I've been dealing with a whole bunch of other crap. So I haven't. This week is like the first time I've had a chance to sit back and take a breath. Um, I'm actually debating on whether or not I want to do the rock garden, because I'm worried about the cows, and I'm worried about the rabbits, because there's rabbits around here, and then I'm also worried about Sam. Um, so it's one of the things that I'm considering is maybe, just because I've got a bunch of these empty number 10 cans, just turn them into single potted, because I don't need a lot of plants. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. Plus, you know, I've got to start digging some dirt. I was supposed to get from my neighbor when I was over there on Sunday. I was supposed to take some bags so that I could carry dirt, because that was one of the tools that I needed. I was trying to figure out how to do it, because I started looking at this potting soil. This potting soil is nice, but I only need maybe 3 bags of it as to like top it. I got to figure, I got to, dig up the ground and stuff. So it's been raining, what, since Sunday? And it's now what, Tuesday? So Sunday. I guess it did. Well, yeah, it rained. Yeah, Monday morning. So investigate microgreens. Okay. And Matthew's been sending me a lot of stuff behind the scenes as well. I've just been so much. I'm sitting there. I'm reading it. I'm acknowledging it, and I want to apply it. I'm waiting for everything else to settle down, because out here you got to have priorities. My number one priority is to make sure that I have a revenue stream, because without that revenue stream, I can't fix my trailer. I can't buy water. I can't do this. I can't do that. You see where I'm going with this? Okay, so that revenue stream becomes my main priority. Being here on the property is kind of like, throwing me off and stuff like that. Plus everything else I've been dealing with from YouTube. Uh, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, that is my next priority, because I really want to get food grown. I know that I've got till the end of this week, and then windows are going to start closing for me to get it stuff done. So I've got to hustle on. Now that I've got everything up and running, I've got to record my last couple of videos, because like I said yesterday, I just slept all day. Getting gym set up. When it's done, you are welcome to use it to burn energy. Well, thank you, Skeeter. Much appreciated. I may take you up on that, just because I need to. I've been over there, just doing so. I like doing the work, but I also like having the conversation too, because it's nice to have somebody to chit chat with, because it gets me out of my own head. I'm in my head too much sometimes. And if there's a lot of stuff that like unbalance me, then getting inside my head becomes toxic to myself. So kind of having that there's, please hit that like button. Yeah. And don't forget to share this stuff as well too, guys. Mm. Uh, oh. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I'm getting exhausted. I'm tired again. I woke up, okay, from from what was it, like 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I took a nap today. I mean, I got up at 5, but now I'm tired again. I must have been really, really exhausted. I must have. I don't know. So I must have been pretty damn exhausted. But those of you that are here, that are my regulars and stuff like that, come on over, sign up for the newsletter, because if you want to keep current with me, that's going to be where you're going to have to do it, because eventually YouTube and we're going to have to part our ways, other than just me using it as a funnel. And right now I'm kind of starting to build that. So more of my, interpersonal stuff like that, even my live streams, once I get my VPS server up and working, I should be fine as far as the way things go. Like, yeah, once I get my VPS server up, it should be going good. Why no wrenches? Because Beth kind of ruined that, and then Jeremy got upset, and so I just took all the wrenches away. That's part of the reason why I put everything behind a membership wall, because it's like, okay, fine. Because it's like, when you have when my lead moderator, I don't even want to talk about this. It's not worth it. We're done rehashing it. But anyways, it's just, yeah, just my moderators. I got rid of Matthew the King is a moderator when he's here, but he doesn't have to be here all the time and stuff like that. I know last time I chit chatted with him, he was hiking. I don't know if it was just a day hike or whatever. So that might be why I haven't seen him in a while. But I used to be on here every single day, twice a day. Now I'm on here twice a week. That's a big difference. And so therefore a lot of that momentum kind of went away. But, it's just, I think right now I'm not in the need of wrenches. I'm going to let Matthew stay a wrench if he wants to. Past that, I'm just going to do my own moderation up until a certain point, because the thing is, this is one of the things that I've learned, because if YouTube isn't going to allow me to make a livable income, even with everything that I built and so on and so forth, if it's not going to let me build an income, then my idea is just to build an income somewhere else. by hosting my own platform. Now I don't have to share ad revenue with YouTube. Instead of giving them 60%, I get to keep that 60%. But that means I got to go out there and get my own sponsors, my own this, my own that. I have one sponsor, and then plus you guys that have memberships, whether it be here on YouTube or over on Patreon. You guys are also sponsors of the channel. You guys believe in this message, want to make sure that the lights stay on and that I keep talking, because if I don't make enough money to make, my property payment and all this other stuff, then it's going to be very, very hard. And, considering this is my first sponsor, and, Stephanie's pretty much considered family. I'm kind of, when it comes to that, I'm not, I wasn't going for like, hey, I need $1,000 a month. No, I did something that was reasonable because I want to keep her around. So, actually, she offered me more than I asked for. That's the great thing about Stephanie. She always asks, she will always be fair with you. Even when you're trying to be extra fair, she'll still be fair with you. I admire that about her. That's why I asked her to be a sponsor. I mean, if you guys want to go check out her property, she's got them in Arizona, Colorado, and Arkansas. Arizona has the least amount of restrictions out of all of the different states that she works in. So like if you're like me and you want to live and build, you're going to have better luck here in Arizona than you would in the other two states. But she'll put you in the right piece of property that works for you. She's really good. She knows her property. She knows the ordinances. She knows the restrictions. She can answer a lot of questions for you that will make your life so much better, so much easier, and make the process so much less stressful. Because quite frankly, it was pretty simple. Oh, you got a piece of property for $200 a month? Okay, I'll take it. Where's it at? That's kind of the position I was in, though. And she, I told her what my restrictions were. I said, look, I walk, I have, my girlfriend's got goats and I've got a dog and I plan on living on this thing. So is that going to be an issue? She says, no, as long as you follow these rules. And boom, she put me in this property. And I the more I work it, the more I get to use it, the more happy I am with it. Because honestly, you can look at a piece of land and you look at it visually and you think it's perfect. No. Walk the land 5 or 6 times minimum. Hey, what's up, Matthew? Walk the line, walk the property 5 or 6 times. Don't walk it once. Walk it 5 or 6 times. The way that I viewed this property when my trailer was over there versus when my trailer is here, over there I felt exposed. It made me feel vulnerable, and I didn't like it. And then also I kind of started looking at trying to figure out where my lines were and stuff like that. That was stressful. But as soon as I moved it over here behind some trees, where now I got a little bit of privacy, unless you get me at a specific angle, you can't see me unless you're coming from one specific direction, which I'll be able to see you and probably hear you before you see me. So therefore I have the ability to be aware of what's going on around me, and I can catch anything that's loud enough to hear or see within my purview. And so once I moved it over here, it's like all of a sudden I kind of had that sense of relief, and I started looking around and I started going, wow, this is an amazing property. And because it just where you decide to put your house is going to actually just help you decide whether or not you like that property. It's weird. I never knew that this was even possible, but it is. So that's one of the cool things. Yeah, because now that I got here, I can see the road. I could see coming from that direction. I'm protected from here and here. So basically, unless you're coming from this road, which I know the couple of people that do, which one is the rancher, and then if you're coming from that road, well, nobody comes from there. So if you're coming from there, you better either know me, or you better have a good explanation why you're on my road, because there's no reason for anybody to come from that direction. There's only people that need to come from that direction. And the main road is out here, but I'm actually covered by the trees. So my neighbor, he keeps saying, yeah, unless I get to right here, I can, and all you can see is a tiny sliver of the white, and you have to really look for it, and you got to know where it's at. But if you're just kind of going by and you're just kind of glancing, you'll never see my trailer. That's the way I wanted it to be, because I want to be hidden. That's why I did the video. Always walk property before purchase. Yes. Not just once. Walk it multiple times. Um, the things here. Okay, so the corner poles, the posts that they put in the rebar. Okay, that's really what like when you're walking the property. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for your edges, because this one edge that's right here, I've got maybe 10 feet between the nose of my trailer and my property line, if that, maybe even like 7 feet. But it's just it's that close, and so you kind of got to know where the lines are so that you know where you want to put things. Because I thought we would have where my water tank is, which I'm supposed to be getting. I need to call dude for the water for tomorrow if I can. Um, but yeah, I got to move my water tank, and I got to move some other things over here on this side, and then I'm completely got everything going. But like I said, I've been waiting for that water tank. It took me 2 months to get it down, and I still got probably about I think I'm down to like 50. So could we look in at the feral princess? Uh, no, you're just laying there like, man, this is she we had some what was it? We had chicken Alfredo for dinner tonight. The Augustin Farms chicken Alfredo. Yeah, she's kind of comatose after that. She's got her eyes partly open, but she's just like, yeah, no. So, yeah, that's the feral princess. All right. But all right. Well, hopefully the rain stopped enough. Maybe after this broadcast, I can get out there and fix that tarp. Maybe I can figure out something with it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I always do. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I think tomorrow's video that comes out, you guys are going to be very, very entertained. Honestly, it's my favorite one. Because I have now coined my saying. It's like you throw a Yosemite Sam temper tantrum, and then your dog looks at you like, "Damn, you okay?" You know. Um, out here, nobody can hear me. I can throw all the temper tantrums I want. It don't work. I was throwing a temper tantrum putting this fucking tarp up. It's funny. It lets me get. I'm yelling and screaming at it while I'm getting it done instead of walking away and just bottling it up. So I mean, it's one or the other. Mm. But yeah, it's been. I know it's been really good. Um, okay, new to this channel. What's this channel about? Survival. That's the simplistic thing. Easiest way to put it, and you're probably going to want to start coming over to hobotuck.com if you really want to follow this channel, because that's where all the real information is. I've been off and on the streets for 25 years, and so I take that survival knowledge and I'm going to teach you guys how to survive what's coming by sharing my personal stories, the lessons I've learned, and things that you guys can do so that you can avoid a lot of the pitfalls I did. Because when the world essentially, and this is still it took me a minute to wrap my head around it, but after being told this enough times, it makes sense. When you're homeless, that's the closest you're ever going to be to collapse when the system's together. Homelessness is like the window to what collapse looks like. Even in a structured society. I mean, it's going to be much worse than most of the stuff that we dealt with, but it's still going to be not so good. Um, and so, with that being said, I when that should that situation ever arise, if you follow what it is that I've done, your chances of survival go up a lot. Because I lived it. It's not something I read out of a book. I didn't read it off a website. I didn't hear somebody tell me a story. I actually went and did it. I learned how to start with nothing and claw my way off the streets. I don't know how many times. That in itself is an accolade in my opinion. Maybe you guys might not think so. People think, oh well, you got off the streets, but you didn't stay off the streets. Well, yeah, I could see that argument, but also in the same sense, um, oh okay, oh Hey, what's up? What's up, Mayor? So, um, mm, but anyways, um, it's just living that getting. There comes a point, like some of the reasons I went homeless wasn't even because of like I lost my job or anything else like that. I would for probably about a good 3 or 4 years. What I would do is I would go to a city. I would be homeless. I'd get myself up on my feet. I'd get a job, do a roommate situation because that's usually the cheapest way to do it. And then I would go see all the tourist sites, pay for all the little tourist stuff. I get so bored in a city like within a few months that all I would do is I just, take my last couple checks, do a Greyhound bus ticket, go to the next town, sit there, play around. It wasn't until I got to San Francisco, which was like 2005, and I left there in 2007. If San Francisco is what settled me down is because there's so much to do in that city. There is so much to do in that city. It's unreal. Um, it's unreal. So, um, I mean, that's the best I can say is that it's unreal. Um, you could spend 3 lifetimes there and still not get everything done if you go and see all the cool things that are in the Bay Area. That's what really that and the fact is that San Francisco is complete anarchy. If you like anarchy, if you want to know what it's like to live in anarchy, why it's really cool, um, the reason why people um the reason why a lot of people don't like thanks real estate a lot of the reason why people don't like anarchy is because it forces them to be responsible. People aren't going to just do something random. You have to give them a reason. Now there are some sick fucks out there. I will give you that. You can't make a blanket statement about everything, but for the majority of it, most of the people that you run into, 98% of them are going to, as long as you're fair with them, they'll be fair with you. You don't need the rule of law because humans know how to govern themselves. It's the fact that we have been convinced that we do not know how to govern ourselves is what makes anarchy so scary because we live in a limited liability society. You get all of the benefits, none of the consequences. What's up, DFH? None of the consequences, and it moves from there. So I mean, it is what it is. Um, but I liked anarchy. I thought that was my favorite place. San Francisco by far. Like people say, where's the best place to live? Well, San Francisco is not the best place to live, but it is fucking awesome. I loved it. It was my favorite place to live. See, people ask me best, and if you ask me best, I'm going to tell you um, go to Cincinnati, go to Covington, maybe even I don't know. Let's see where else? If you're down south, maybe go to Gainesville. I mean, that's going to be the only place where you get help, but it's also dangerous there. But that's where that's where your best opportunities are to get up and on your feet. Um, is places like that because they have not only work programs, but they have a good foundation of services for the homeless. Whereas my favorite place to live was San Francisco. I used to, I would get up in the morning. I would go down. I would go down to the wharf and hang out sometimes. But then on my days off, because I was working IT at the time. On my days off, I would go. I would start down at the Embarcadero, on Market Street, and I already went and bought me some weed, stuff like that, and I would just I would walk from there all the way up to Golden Gate Park, walk through the Panhandle, go see all the cool stuff around the Panhandle, and then I go hang out at Hippie Hill, and I'd sit and I'd smoke a bowl again, and there it's legal because as long as you're 10 feet above the line, it's considered a historical landmark because that's where the Grateful Dead did their concerts. Like the strawberry fields have been taken out, but if you hear the song about the Grateful Dead and the strawberry fields, it's right there on Hippie Hill. And that's where a lot of the artists used to go and like hold their concerts and stuff like that. So it became a place where you could go, you could sit back, you could smoke. And then I would transfer the park, and the way you go through Golden Gate Park, you could go through it a million different ways, and there's always a different path to take. You'll never see the same thing twice if you just sit there and zigzag and maneuver out. I got to see a pagan ceremony. It was on the solstice, and they were doing a turning of the earth, and I thought that was the neatest thing that I'd ever seen. Even though at that point in time I was still a devout Christian. But I've always been fascinated about other religions and other ways people think. I've always been that way. But then I would end up at the beach, and then I would hop the train. I wouldn't pay. I would hop the train, and I would go all the way down until the point where I knew I was going to start getting ticketed by the authorities, and I'd just get off and walk the rest of the way home. And that used to be what I would do every weekend on my days off. That's why I love San Francisco. You can go anywhere, do anything. You never have to worry about it. It's like you get to be a human being without having to look over your shoulder. And a lot of that is because the jails are so overcrowded that they can't really charge you with a lot of crimes. And that's the on one, it's a double-edged sword. On one side, if you're a freedom-loving American and you're responsible, it's the greatest thing you've ever experienced. You'll never experience freedom like that ever in your life. But if you are a criminal-minded person, it's probably the worst. It's probably the best place for you, but everybody else is going to hate you because you're a criminal. So, but that's just the way it is. I don't know. Evening talk. Okay. All right, guys. So we have been going for over an hour. I want to say I'm going to give a 2-minute warning. If any of you guys have any questions, you guys want to ask, stuff like that, let me know. From moving forward, I'm not going to be putting the live streams, since I'm only doing 2 a week. I'm not going to put the live streams behind a members only paywall. That's the trade-off. If I was going to be doing it, good night, Mitch. If we were going to be doing this, if I was going to do 5 days a week, 2 live streams a day, something like that. Can you please remind me as the YouTube schedule? Tuesdays at 8 Eastern, Friday at 5 Eastern is when I'm going to do it. Because Friday I've got 3 broadcasts. Also the schedule on Patreon website. Okay, the schedule for the website is Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can listen for free on the front end. You just go to hobotuck.com, click on the live broadcast button, and you'll be able to listen to the broadcast. If you want to listen to it after the broadcast, you have to go over into the blog section because it's now tied to a blog, so it could do search engine, all that other stuff. Okay, now, if you're a member over on Patreon, which means you're either a Rebel Watcher or a digital homesteader, okay, you get what is it? You'll get a link to Jitsi plus a password so that you can come in for 30 minutes before the broadcast. We can sit back, have a chat. There's usually, except for this morning, there's usually about 4 or 5 people that are in there, so we could sit back, chat, all that other stuff. Once the broadcast goes live, everybody turns off their mic, everybody turns off their video. You can still listen in, and there's a chat function. So what I'll end up doing is I read the chat from people that want to chit chat with me or ask questions while I'm doing it. So that's one of the benefits of having the live stream and stuff like that. So that is Monday through Friday. You get a half hour before the broadcast and a half hour after the broadcast. So we have the green room in the morning or before the broadcast, and then we have the after party after the broadcast in case somebody wants to really like reach out and stuff like that. Now on Fridays over on Patreon, if you're a free member, I do open up Fridays with my old man. I open that up to everyone, so paid members and free members. Also, I will probably end up doing it for the morning one as well, the morning broadcast, Spiritual Friday. And so therefore, that is a perk of being a free member over on Patreon. On Fridays, you get to participate with the paid members 1 day out of the week as an incentive to like, hey, if you want to do more than just Fridays, pay $5 a month, pay $10 a month, whatever you choose to do. Okay. All right. So that is that. So my old man, every Friday night, 8 Eastern, that's what our schedule is, unless I change it. If I change it, I will definitely let you guys know. But we will have an 11 a.m. Eastern time broadcast. We will have a 5 p.m. Eastern live stream, and then we will have an 8 p.m. Eastern broadcast with my old man. So that's what Fridays look like. So like I said, you're going to really want to be over on hobotech.com. How do you view Trump? Is it good for America? I'm not the person to ask about that. I don't like any politician. The root definition of a politician is a con artist. So why would I ever want to listen to them or follow them or root for them? I'm paying them to be conned. They get to rob me blind while they're conning me. Yay me. But people much wiser than me decided that was the best way to go. But how do I feel about Trump? I think that Trump is about to get his ass kicked. The trade war is not going in his favor. The Ukraine-Russia thing is not going in his favor. There's a lot of stuff. His whole goal, although everybody thinks that the trade war was to rebalance trade, it wasn't necessarily to rebalance trade. It was to refinance about, I think it's like 1/3 or 2/3 of the nation's debt, because there's a huge refinance that's coming up, and he was trying to get the best interest rates possible. That way America wouldn't be basically is a car salesman trying to get you the best deal, and it backfired, blew up in his face, and now he's going to pay the price for it. And the rest of us got to pay the price for it too. That's my overall opinion on Donald Trump. Not a fan. I liked him in his first term. His second term, no. Fucking dog snoring. Yeah. Have a good week. You too, DFH. Hope to see you guys over on Patreon. Hope to see you guys on the broadcast. And I will see you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow morning over on hobotech.com if you want to be there. Thanks for being here. I'll see you. What is it? I'll see you Friday here on